Okay.
I don't know.
I'm saying, because you clearly...
It's... like, I don't... I don't know, like, I don't know what else to say in that sense than I flip out of it. I flip, like, to such a distance. So, like, right now, for example, like, I know what I felt like this morning or last night, like I was when I was able to experience it. But I have, okay. So talking about narratives, ADHD.
You're doing it right now. Just help me out really quick. I want to just know what's been going on. Just look back. Maybe you're the third person. You're still looking at a house. You know, like, it's okay. Just accept my head's up my ass. Can you start there? Because that's what you really want to say. And then just go, great, I'm 50% out of my ass now. As you guys remember this, there's leagues of up your ass, right? Light, medium, extreme plus, right? A lot of people spend time in extreme plus. And I think you can kind of recognize that, because I think what you're really looking to do, Aldo, is like, there's like a lot of fear. That's what I feel. It's a lot of fear. A lot of fear. There's a lot of fear of loss. There's fear of existing honestly. That's something that comes to me, existing authentically. A lot of that's to do with your masculinity too. A lot of your dark nature, a lot of your aggression, a lot of your sexuality. So embodying those things on the front end make you go like this and like retract and then start puppeteering people. It's like, you know, it's boring. Isn't it boring? Like, you could actually be living life. First, just accept it's up the ass. Can we start there?
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm absolutely disconnected. My head is up my ass. I think I think even the masculinity, like right now, like all I'm coming to is like the identity that I've had around being a father or being a part of this family, and like all of that, like being set up and like, this is who I am, and like, this is who I am, this is where I'm going. And I know it's like, they're still my sons. I still have my kids. I see them and all that, but it's still like that identity and losing that sense of self. It's so funny because like,
well, I want to stop you here. So don't confuse your identity with yourself. They're very different. Identities are always reductive. They're what remove you from your essence. They're a behavior, an affectation. It's not authentic. It's like when this will happen to me, when I recognize I have a lot of love I want to express to somebody, I turn into a kid and I start playing dress up. And I start to appear as Steve Rogers or Bruce Wayne or Batman with a costume, with a mask, right? And I can go like, Naftali, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm scared. I don't want to be seen for what I shame. Well, what is that? Okay, we'll step into the light with it. That's for you, right? And then the identity is in order. And so there's an illusion that we have. It's the illusion of people, and you guys are going to really like this. It's the illusion of integration, which is any part of yourself that you need to integrate, you have to be willing to let go. What I mean is, let's say you have a really big heart, right? Both of you guys, really big hearts. It's no fucking, both of you guys, like, I see it, it's like, chill. Like, chill out. It's way too big for me. Anyways. Yeah. Now, what happens when we go, okay, I want to start living in my heart? You know what your ego says? The psychology in relationship to that truth? It goes like this. What, are you going to be a fucking dumbass with your heart open every day? Right? What, am I going to be like, just heart open and be fooled by every fucking girl that I see? Be taken advantage of? Right? Mocked, ridiculed, rejected? But do you see how when accepting a certain part of ourselves, we have to accept it in isolation? That's what makes it courageous, right? When I look at somebody and I go, you are a self-centered, narcissistic, manipulative, psychotic, sociopathic, self-interested, vampiric asshole. And why not sprinkle it up with bully? What do most people do? Right? You're sensitive. We know that. You have emotions. We knew that. You have a heart. We know that. But what do we do when we have to start learning how to integrate things? When you guys need to learn to integrate almost anything, you have to accept it in the vacuum of it. Once you're in the room with it, you have to be present with it. I don't know if you guys notice this, but when you're in your body and you're interacting with something in your body, have you ever noticed that it's that thing and that thing only? That you're very present with whatever that is? Now, here's what happens in the bigger scheme. Do you think that you lose the other parts of you? Or you make sure that this unconscious part of you is now placed in alignment? Now, do you guys see how much faith there is in this? Like, oh wait, I need to accept my sensitivity. You know what it feels like? It feels like agreeing to amoebaism, meaning turning into just like goo. Every moment I'm breaking down into tears and crying. I'm listening to fucking Charlie XCX1, however you say her last thing, and I'm just blown away by her music. She released a new album, the Wuthering Heights album. Perfect. Perfect. It somehow has this Victorian melancholy in it, and I love everything about it. And, well, I'd be crying there. Well, I see my nephew, I'd definitely be crying. I see my nieces, I'm definitely crying. I see my brothers, I'm definitely crying. I bring up my older brother who passed away at a very young age, I'm crying. Now, beautiful part is, Allah, I actually like that about me. Actually, how about this? That's a little too fast. I'm learning to love it. I'm getting closer to it. To say I like it? Brother, I pray for the day that I could express the extent of my love. So for both of you guys, remember this. Anything you integrate, you have to be willing to be alone in the room with that very thing and to accept it as it is. I was talking to a friend last night, and it was one of my friends, and my friend's brother. And my friend's brother will rather do anything than have a real conversation. And you'll really like it. I triggered his shadow because he asked me to. Very similar thing that happened with the podcast and that other girl happened with him over dinner. He's like, I went to the Jungian Institute of Shadow Integration and nobody can give me answers. I was like, It's like, you want shadow integration? Here it goes. I said, look at me. Are you selfish? And he goes, yes, I'm selfish. I was like, impressive. And he goes, but everyone's partially narcissistic. Robert Greene said that. And I said, you saw what you just did there? You didn't integrate shit. Because it's like this. It's like, for example, it's like every girl has a vagina as a way to compensate for the fact that, like, you know, or like you have shame for your own penis. And so instead you go, everybody has a penis. Does that help you with your shame? No, because you have your own personal relationship with it, right? Everyone has sex. And it's like, but yeah, you're the one that's like fucking hookers. So like, I don't know what to tell you. You got to like work on your relationship with it, right? But it's personal. By the way, sometimes we need to accept the worst of ourselves. Do you understand the courage in relationship to doing that? You need to be a giant. Then I go, okay, you're not that kind of shadow. Let's go deeper, because there's deeper dimensions. You're manipulative. Manipulative? I'm not manipulative. Just letting you know that he wanted to see me because he wanted help with this. The reason why he came over to my friend's house for dinner was not to see my friend. But if you want to know how strategically manipulative he is, tactically manipulative he is, he made sure to make an appointment with his father to learn Talmud for the first time in 2 months. And the day that he decided to make that at 9:30, not too deep in the night, because that's when conversations get real, That's exactly when he made the appointment. Wait, so you pushed your dad over to go ahead and learn Talmud for 2 months, right? You can't push him over for another week when you decide to come to your own brother's house who left everything that had to do with that. And then as that happens, I tell him, I said, are you aware there's a reason why you have a hard time integrating your shadow? And he goes, why? I said, well, when you were younger, you were told things that made you repress it. You adopted a belief system that's contrary to the truth of who you are. And look at this, guys. Not joking. I hit him. I got him right in the soul. And he went like this. I have to go. And storms out. And I said, hey, don't you think that was a little abrupt? Guess what? His adrenaline spiked. And I said, I know what you're doing. I see you, man. I see you. I know what you're doing. And he goes, no, you don't. I said, and by the way, guess what? For a second, I doubted it. I was like, do I? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. I was like, no, I know what you're doing. I trust my intuition. It's been something I've been working on, by the way. Very, very interesting how you work on things in relationship to resistance and intention. Just having intention with what you want to develop a relationship with and standing by that. And then my friend who's at the door puts his hand on his chest. And he knows, because I'll be like, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's okay. You don't need to go anywhere. I'll walk you out. And he said that his heartbeat was over 180. And I could feel, by the way, that's exactly what happens when you integrate people's shadows, is that their repressed aggression comes up to the surface, and then all of those parts of themselves, they start to project onto you, right? But what do you do in a session? You go like this. I'm your mirror, baby. What do you like? You like what you see? Oh, I don't like what I see. That makes a lot of sense. That's why we're here. And then as he got up and stormed out and left, he said, I'm not satisfied with the conversation. And I said, yeah, dickhead, because you booked an appointment to where that moment it gets real, you can walk out and conveniently say you're not satisfied. And then my friend, his older brother, was like, that is absolutely fascinating. That is the most fascinating thing I've ever seen. And by the way, you could do it with people wherever you go. It just depends. Most people I want a real conversation. Show me who I am. You're like, no. Absolutely not. And so it's really funny. He then reaches out to me and he goes, you asked me what I was hungry for. I'm hungry for a deeper connection with God. I was like, oh, are you? He was like, yeah, more than anything. Have you noticed that it went this way, or his perceivable direction of God? Most people point, where's God? They go like this, right? Here. How here? The deepest, darkest place of your soul. That's where God is. Okay? Just let's find the darkest part of the human psyche, and let's go further into the subconscious until we find ourselves in the veins running through the blood of your heart. And then somehow in the sub-molecules of your heart, there's a fragment of God. And then in the shadows of that, then you'll know him. So I texted him because I wanted to quote Carl Jung to just fuck him, because he went to the Institute, but he didn't learn jack shit about him. But by the way, just so you know, the Carl Jung Institute is like saying, if anybody who read Carl Jung will understand one thing, he's about individuation, not about following his practices or worshiping his texts. He wants people to get connected to that very thing as the individual that they are, so that he can interact with them and communicate with that very thing through one another. He has contempt for the group, absolute contempt for the group, because it's the death of the individual. It's where he starts conforming to everybody else's perception, mimicking, cloaking, all of the things that you're doing, the unconscious manifestation of the shadow, and creating significance in relationship to your own pity and self-destruction and your own degeneracy, and getting other people to be your internet prostitute to validate all the other parts of you, which are really just diminishing those things. It's like, man, if you understood the value of your sensitivity, you wouldn't weaponize it. It's like ultimately anything you weaponize, you're disconnected from. It was something I posted the other day. Nobody resonated with it, but now it makes sense. So there was something really remarkable about what I sent them is that most people, I said, okay, you want to find God? Most people don't find God because they aren't looking low enough. And I said, if you want to find your soul, it's in the darkest parts of yourself. Where did I find my soul? In the Black Forest. If that's not metaphorical, I don't know what is. Yeah, I was inviting death. course I was inviting death. This is a very, very powerful story in the game God of War. I think you guys will really like it. The father is telling his son before they go into battle a story to help him go to sleep. And he tells him a story about an old man. And this old man has worked his whole life. And he's had to pick up these logs in the forest and take them into the town. And these logs were really heavy. And he grew exhausted and tired. And years went by. And one day he prayed for death. And death comes by through the dark woods. And he makes eye contact with death. And in seeing death, he realized he wants to live. And then asked death to help him move the logs. But there's a driving will to live in relationship to that. And it's almost like your ability to interact with death, it's like it's the very thing that's helping you bear the weight. Isn't that beautiful? It's the very thing that helps you lift the weight, is that it brings you closer to your life. And I'm bringing this up because it's a very powerful metaphor for often the places we expect the least to have the wisdom, the godliness, the insight, the genius we're seeking are often the places we need to go. It's like you want to find your innate gifts, go to the circus, play a fool. For me, that's changed my life. You know, you want to find God, well, go to the depths of hell. He's right there. We often find the wisdom in the place we least expect, right? Where do you find love? It's like city block. Crazy how that works. Or even better, inside of you. That's where you find love. This is the last place I expected to find it. So now, just with a little context, just giving you an understanding that you're further along than you think. The reason why I believe that shadow integration, or the integration of your dark nature, is just the way that I would say it, just because it's a lot more than just like something that just lingers there. It's infinite in capacity. What happens is that when you have your protective responses, the most capable part of you comes out unconsciously with the people that are closest to you. And that means that you're taking this war where it doesn't belong. Because it works a little bit like this, and I've been breaking this down, I think you guys will find this very valuable, is that you have things like trauma, and where there's trauma, there's identity. And I was actually thinking of how I can write this down, just as kind of like an image, to see like where these things face. Because what I wanted to get to today, Alo, was a little bit about what gets your head up your ass, is when you start interacting with things about yourself that are true and non-negotiable. And your emotions are the very thing that allow you to be alive with that part of you. Do you understand? Hey, for example, why does somebody need to go through a Great Depression in order to find themselves? Because it's funny you use the word depression, depressed. I thought that was good. I thought that was a great way to integrate the worst possible, yuckiest thing that you could be in the 21st century, right? Great. Okay, have you ever realized what you're really grieving? What your sadness is around? How deeply disconnected a person can be? And ultimately, what are they being brought to? And potentially the process of being brought to the truth of themselves is through grief and loss. That's why we often see that people that are really depressed are grieving, and they're extraordinarily sad. Now look, I'm the last person that would ever judge you for that at this point. I'd have my own commentary about it, about myself, and maybe at times with other people, because I'm just trying to I'm learning how to have more compassion for that too. A lot more compassion for it. And I'm noticing that like when I see a person cry, often we go, what's wrong? Is everything okay? How can I help? What do you need? Right? I feel the best thing you could say is, hey, what's going on? Is that we can start, changing our responses to these things based off how we would like to be responded to. That was a big thing for me. So I don't want you to just think of your emotions as the thing itself. That there's a relationship within that dissolutes the identity, right? Okay, how real of a conversation do you want to have with me? How much truth do you want to speak to me, right? Here's the exchange, here's the agreement. that you need to accept. I have to remove everything that separates me from that truth when I express it. And any identity or any part of yourself that you want to integrate. So there's a part of you that in order to integrate something, you have to let go of an identity, right? Well, I'm Mr. Sensitivity. Oh, well, your shadow is saying otherwise, that you're a psychopath. It's the opposite of sensitivity, emotionless. Just whatever it is to achieve an ends, you will go by any measure in order to meet that. Okay. Whew. So I have to be willing to let go of that in order to come closer to this. Now, of course, what do you think happens? You truly start to become an empathetic person. More than just your perception of sensitivity. Also the same thing for men in their masculinity, right? Your identity of masculinity is reductive. You're teaching your children an affectation, not an embodiment. Right? And by the way, what do people seek in men? The embodiment part. Well, why? Because I don't want to be a person mimicking an act of alpha male machismo. I want to be the thing. But then when you are the thing, you're realizing how empathetic you are and how much you care about other people and how unvainful you become. And you're like, okay, being the real deal is very different than being the perceivable leader. You guys ever think about the most crazy thing you can ever do is try to play God and then believe that lie? Or even, how about this? It's a very common story. It's a con story, right? It's where a person has to play a leader, but clearly they're not a leader of anything. But they're getting all of these riches. They're getting the best, the cream of the crop. They're getting the prettiest girl. They're sitting on thrones that they never thought they would sit on. And they have their friend, and they're whispering in their friend's ear, look at how we're doing it, man. Have you guys ever seen the movie He Who Shall Be King? Michael Caine and Sean Connery? Oh, The Man Who Shall Be King. That's what it's called, The Man Who Shall Be King. Here's the story. It's a story of two chumps who decided that they wanted to find a native tribe unknown by man, and they wanted to play gods to those tribes. Because you're getting two white men from a far out land. But by the way, in the real world, they're losers. And so what? They're trying to exploit the vulnerable, the people that don't know. And ultimately, there's a little battle that breaks out between Sean Connery, Michael Caine, and these natives. And one of the natives shoots a bow into the heart of Sean Connery, but he had a notepad right under where his breast was, right over where his chest was. And then the Indians look at him and they're like, and they get on their knees and they start bowing and they start calling him God, right? And he goes like, no way. But by the way, the crazy part is he doesn't even have the honesty to accept that he got to play this game for a little bit and realize that he's exploiting the people. Now the thing is that he does have higher intellect than those natives, clearly, because they're still doing human sacrifice. So he could actually implement something that could help elevate them, right? But due to his self-obsession, and you could say his unintegrated narcissism, he starts to believe his own lies. What turned into the manipulation of others eventually became the self-deceit of himself. And then in that, he believed that he was a god to these people. And then, of course, one day, the queen that he was offered ends up scratching him and he starts to bleed. And then the lie begins to fall apart and they burn him at the stake. And the other one was lucky enough to escape to tell the story about the man who shall be king. It's a great story. But I really like these things because there's a certain point where you really think you can get away with this? Like, be honest with me. Like, you think you can get away being dishonest with yourself?
Absolutely not.
So have you ever heard the expression, there are no shortcuts? Okay. Well, there's something really powerful about that expression, is that that's the very juvenile way of communicating something, that you don't get to cheat life. What makes you think that you ever wanted to? Of course, we would like to not have to vainfully suffer. But there's the part in life where you become someone. You know, maybe let's play with me over here. You know, when you had your children, did you notice yourself just to instantly become a father? Or did you feel like the same man with more insecurities?
It was, yeah, there was like both excitement and fear. It was.
That's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking is that when you had your first son, even your second son, did you feel like, oh, I'm the father now?
No.
No. What did you feel like?
I didn't, like, I felt love. I don't know what to, like, there was no thought towards me. It was, I literally can't even love. Bliss. That was like I was just like looking at him, like sitting when he was born. I remember like sitting outside the hospital room, the operation room or whatever, and was waiting there, and I was just looking at him and crying a little bit, and I was just there.
When you look at your sons now,
yeah,
what do you feel?
Okay, what do I feel? Love and worry. I'm looking at him right in the kitchen. I'm literally looking at the house.
Well, it's perfect. Well, because I think there's a component of your life, right? There's parts of you that you're having a hard time integrating. Let's be honest with it, right? There's conversations with those parts of you. You want to intellectually bypass so much, but that's got you nowhere. Like you have all the right answers, but you've become no one. I've played that game before, man. You know, like there's a reason why you're working here. It's because I'm not here to tell you like, yeah, man, keep doing that, right answers. Look at how much you've grown. I mean, dude, you've just like, I don't even know, you've amassed nothing, right? You have ideas. You start thinking about like, what do you really feel around your children? I mean, to be honest with you, I know what you feel. You just don't want to admit it because it means a conversation that you must continue. Okay, you want to embody it. You want to be a father and a husband, and not just to your children, but God willing children you have in the future, and a wife that you get married to. I'll give you another example. You meet an extraordinarily beautiful woman. She is charming, she is fun, she is playful, she is sexual, she is sensitive, and she wants to build a family. What are you feeling?
Inadequacy.
Beautiful. Okay. Now look back at your child and you'll have a very similar experience.
Yeah.
Remember, these are just mirrors of you. That inadequacy part, man. Do you want to walk that road? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I think that a lot of what you did experience a lot of bliss and love, just like you would a lot of attraction, desire, and excitement. If you didn't feel an underlying inadequacy, remember, this isn't somebody putting you down. This is a natural response to love because it's calling to the best in you, and now you can see it clearly. What do I mean? Like, guys, come on. Are you telling me that you don't feel inadequate in the face of your dreams? You don't feel inadequate in the face of a beautiful woman that you clearly have a soul connection with? What, you don't feel inadequate in the face of your own children? Like, look, I don't have children, but I can tell you, like, the face of my nieces and nephews, when I see that my nephew looks up to me like a hero, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but thanks. The truth is the more I connect with what he addresses in me, or even what I do to him, I start realizing, holy shit, what I've looked for my whole life, I'm being that man to the people I love. And I didn't even know it. A lot of the time when we talk about, I wish I had a father that could have taken me into life and showed me how to do that. I don't feel you had that. You had a very distant father, a very phantom father. Phantom dad. Absent is a good word.
Yeah, absent.
Absent dad.
He was just looking.
Yeah. And mom was more than likely overbearing. If there's absent father, overbearing mother.
Not even, just distant as well.
Oh, okay. So a lot of phantom.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then there's definitely a serious removal from your own emotional needs, right? That makes sense. Those things would never be addressed. So you don't really create a strong through line with that, right? The muscle is big. How about that? Muscle is big, but it ain't worked. It ain't worked. There's a lot of capacity to that. So, yeah, absent father. Man, there's something about that is, I mean, you become fearful to yourself, divided against yourself. The world becomes a place where you have to be something you're not, you know, like, I'm just giving you a little bit of just clarity to like understanding, like, how did I get from here to there, right? And you know, like your children, well, they're interacting with a little bit of the same absence because they need a father, right? But they need a real person first. That's the thing we hate, right? So something I've realized with my nephew, that what I wanted my whole life when I was younger, I was to my nephew, and in that healed myself. Because it was like I went back in time. Isn't that beautiful? And here's also really interesting. I got him at a point in life where he was 12 years old. There was no puberty, none of those things were happening just yet. And he was so impressionable by my own personality in a lot of ways that we were like, it was like me when I was 12. That's how crazy it was. That's how crazy of a connection we have. As he's getting older, I'm loving it even more. He's becoming more himself. So it's like, not only did he get to heal that at that point in time, like life continues to move on and my relationship with him also begins to evolve. And so, of course, it's not just a never-ending healing process with that. There's different aspects of it that allow you to heal things at a deeper level because the relationship itself is evolving, and in that, so are you. We can, what you call, be liberated from conversations, or we can grow out of them. Now, it doesn't mean that those things ever left. And you guys are going to like this. Maybe you should write this down. Your issues don't leave. I feel that a lot more people would be a lot more content with themselves if they began to realize that you don't untraumatize yourself. You don't just remove anger or rage. You don't just highlight backspace. You don't get rid of sorrow or grief. You just expand the picture. You connect. Issues. Here's an issue I have. Support. How do I fix it? I'm already fucked. I'm already fucked. How do I connect with it? Then I know it'll play out with my close, intimate relationships. I also realize that there's beauty to this, guys. Like, you get to develop relationships with people that understand your own shortcomings. And you get to strengthen yourself like a silent handshake with the people in your life that are closest to you to address those things when they come up. And not only can your friends help you see the fire, they can also help you see where there isn't one. Because in a lot of ways, you know, oh my God, we're so vulnerable. Even as you talk about how many issues that a person has, like how the hell did we even all make it this far? It's a miracle. It blows my mind. You know, how the hell did your kids not put a fork in an outlet? That blows my mind, right? How'd they not fall down the stairs as little babies and just egg yolk, right? Blows my mind. I know, terrible visual, right? You're like, oh, you're a fucking terrible person. I don't know, man. Like, it's remarkable to me. Do you see how many sharp corners there are? And like, their heads are at the perfect length to be fucking impaled by that shit. So we can have faith that there is protection in our pursuits of what we seek to integrate. And that's, by the way, this is a very brave thing you're doing. Yet, I want you to take a closer look at, maybe the conversations you don't look to have are the ones that you need to start. I feel that in a lot of ways it has to do with your inadequacies. And I'm speaking to both of you guys because, Thomas, I wanted to ask you a question. How's it been deleting all those photos and getting an intermediary?
I'm talking to Trevor on Wednesday, so...
Wednesday? What the fuck is Trevor doing? What is he, like a fucking stockbroker in Wall Street?
No. No, we just already had plans to go to happy hour, so... and then I'm going to give him the sunglasses that I have that are hers.
Good.
Or that she gave me.
You want to know something really powerful, man? That the energetic component, which is what I was going to tell you, Alo, that you are immediately threatened at your own development. Your wife was the manifestation of your prior agreements, and you're still in that house.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. My old media manager, my old employees that are no longer part of the business, they were a reflection of my prior agreements. They were the things that I wanted to be seen as. They were the reinforcers of that false image. They were ego-driven people. Not anymore. Not for me. I'm not an ego-driven person anymore. I want to become a soul-oriented person. Okay, but the process of becoming, nobody ever told you it's a hallway of truth. It's a dark pit. It's a little bit of both. And the alternative is forever mimicking and believing your own lies and remaining disconnected and trying to play with the limited resource you have, your time. It's just a bad game. It's a game you always lose. Because you're always older than you would have liked to have been before you accepted a truth that you could have experienced in your youth. Isn't that a pain in the ass? Like, man, why didn't I start this earlier? Fucking 45, gray-haired ass. Here's the beauty of it. If you started it at all, you're a winner. Even for me, when I started my business at 22, I was like, what the fuck was I doing in the other years? It's like, clearly training is the answer. Training. You get to a certain point and you realize that this is the best that you got. And like, we all have to forgive ourselves for our shortcomings and maybe our stubbornness even at times, our protectiveness, our ability to run from reality and life. Like, you ever think about why you do it for so long and why a person stops? I think that those are great questions. You should investigate both. And you'll have a much deeper understanding of yourself, and you'll be able to embrace yourself in that understanding, and you could let go. You won't bear any hatred towards yourself, but Alo, there's a serious thing that's stopping you from growth right now. And look, I want to just help you understand this because I'll use myself as an example. Okay, so when this person left my business, a lot of things fell apart, which is typically what happens. I mean, same thing with the divorce, same thing with the breakup. Some people never really let go of the person because they're still living in their house, right? Or they still have naked photos of their ex, or they still have a person that's logged into all of their social medias. Now, I want to have an idea because I was like, dude, what the fuck is happening? I am not growing my page. My page is like, pfft. And so after Thomas, we had a whole thing today where we talked about immediate things that you need to do after a breakup, things that you cannot do in order to heal. Well, because I'll let you know that. Let's just play around with the terminologies here. This is the best way that I understand it. There's an energetic limitation, and your attachments begin to manifest on things. Your attachments begin to manifest on a subconscious level, and you create a confinement to your own growth. It's like a bottleneck, something that's holding you back. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Thomas was meeting girls recently. I don't know if you remember in some of the other lectures, he was saying, like, tell me the craziest thing about you. And it's happened over 3 times, which is something you should pay attention to, where he wanted to say every time, I'm still in love with my ex. I'm not over my ex. Those are the words. I'm not over my ex. it made me think. I was like, oh, this guy's got way too many hooks in. Way too many hooks in, right? And then he's like, I'm meeting girls that are unavailable. And I'm like, crazy, probably because you're unavailable. And so, by the way, we forget something here, is that like we become attached to people in a subconscious way because we want to negotiate with the loss of that person, and in that, the fear that we will never meet someone or be loved again. That shit's real. That shit's real because it exists in business too. Oh no, I was growing with him. I won't grow ever again. There won't be the right person to come into my life. I'll always have to just take the next thing that's available. So I did a video on it, did a YouTube video on it. I thought it was very interesting. Went through a whole framework of what a person needs to do. And you're gonna have to do something very similar to that because you never have. You never have. You've never healed. And you're still subconsciously attached to what that person can validate in you. And I think it's important to be able to address whatever that is. And it was something that I was telling Thomas, is that the people that you are subconsciously attached to are the people that allowed you to experience a part of yourself that you do not live with anymore. They are the doorway to your soul, and they hold that over you. And you'll wait outside their own house until they open that door, even if it takes 20 years. Are you guys aware of how important it is to live with who you are? Let me give you some clarity. You can't live without it, so much to the point that you would make your whole life about another person if they were the person that gave you permission to experience that truth in you. And by the way, you start noticing, I was like, hey, Thomas, do you know how many fucking photos or videos do you have there? And you're like, well, dude, we were like hanging out for like an extra 30 minutes after we finished our session, like to give you an idea. And that goes for you too, Allah. There's a lot that you're holding on to. There's so much that you're afraid of existing with. I mean, honestly, in a lot of ways, you're looking to be given permission. You know, but ultimately, you don't want to experience this loss and this grief. You want to still live in the fantasy world where you're still getting that little scratch, that little itch, that person is there. You know, it's hard to face a reality because even what Thomas was saying as he was removing those photos was he was noticing a part of him that was negotiating. And I said, pay attention to the narrative, say them out loud. Thomas, share some of them.
I mean, never gonna get another naked picture again. Never gonna meet anyone again.
All really dramatic, but I like it. Keep going.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look at porn again.
That's fucking amazing. All right. I think in other words that I'm gonna have to go back to being a loser.
Yeah.
That's really what that was.
Yeah. Yeah, that is.
That is what that was.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, fucking, how long has it been since you guys have been separated?
18 months.
Okay, so how long have you been divorced?
I moved out in May, so since April, 10 months.
10 months. Okay, man,
Well, it's like, what do you mean?
we're dealing with the same thing here. I think you could understand. For example, you have shared assets, a home, 2 kids. He has shared assets, a home, and more nudes to blackmail somebody than any person on planet Earth.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Let's go. I want to know, Thomas, how do you feel making those choices? Be honest, because like, good or bad, doesn't matter.
I mean, there's definitely been. I mean, I cried on Sunday. I cried
Amazing.
a lot.
Amazing. You feel lighter, by the way. You feel lighter. You look lighter.
Yeah, I do feel lighter. I feel shame now about the other pieces of it, about like cutting, communication or.
Yeah, of course. You feel like a terrible person.
Yeah.
I hope you know that's the first time you're actually addressing the pain in the relationship and in that the other person. Because you're addressing yourself. If you do that, you address her. But you have a twisted sense of kindness. It's called altruism. Altruism is about perception. It's not real kindness. Real kindness is I should have done this earlier. Goodbye. I didn't have the courage to do it then. I was too much of a coward then. Well, if you want to know how hard it was to delete those photos, delete your number, and hit up my friend Trevor in order to be an intermediary to these things and to give away things that you've given me, I broke down. Well, if you want to know how hard it is, I had to have somebody hold my hand and walk to the damn door. I'm glad I can be that guy, because in my life, I've had friends that walk me to the door of my ex-girlfriend to say, I can't do this anymore. I need space. If you want to talk about it next week, we can. I had friends delete the photos for me. I couldn't do it. Guys, I couldn't do it. I handed them my phone and I said, just, if her face is in it, delete it. And they looked at me, they're like, man, these are some like beautiful experiences. Are you sure? And I said, I'm sure.
Yeah, those were honestly the harder ones. The ones where it's like the two of you or two of us together in like, fucking Mexico or Costa Rica or whatever the bullshit was.
Yeah, I could see even they say whatever the bullshit was, like, it's just sad. It's really sad. There's a lot of loss on this. Although, I don't know if you're aware, but you have everything that you need in order to grow. You are just not in the environment in order to do it. Do you understand? You cannot heal in the place you were poisoned. You cannot heal a heartbreak in the places that broke it. Although I hope you know that you're, just listen to me here. Take this to heart, because I want to tell you a reality. You're completely castrated. And there's a few things that could do that to a man. And it's not that you're lacking your balls. No. Well, I'm using that term because it's like the worst thing you could ever hear as a man. Like, what am I really saying? You're removed from your truthful essence. Now, what does that mean, Allo? A removal from your masculinity. Don't fall in love with the idea that masculinity is like whatever you see, even in films. Masculinity is the truth of your essence as a man. That's what masculinity is. It's the complete and total integration of your humanity. That's what it is. When somebody says they have issues with their masculinity, they have issues with their innate relationship with themselves as a man. That's really what they're saying. David Bowie's really masculine. The guy wore dresses. So like, nobody ever is thinking David Bowie is, not masculine. I mean, he actually, in a lot of ways, embodied it. But there's issues with that. And by the way, how do I know this? Well, these are like the terminologies that people would say, but I want to say it anyways, that any person with self-respect, with those things that allow them to be strong as a man, would never be in the position that you're in. But I want you to know, Allah, that I understand that your heart's really broken and you don't want to experience that grief. You don't feel that you'll be able to make it because you're thinking about your children too. I know that you are. You want to be strong for them. But this is not strength. This is a lie. This is not strength. Your children need the truth. They need the truth. And they'll thank you for it when they're older. And they'll look to you as a father to help guide them in life. Right now you're trying to be that thing. Right now. You are not that thing right now. You are very far from it. And right now you are hurting them. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of letting go. And I hope you know that you're in the right space to not have to do it alone. I think your soul knows that. Like, we have to go through this now. We have to go through this. You can't continue doing this to yourself. Like, energetically castrated is a bad place to be as a man. And you are not in a place that allows you to heal. You are in a place that is confirming the worst of yourself, and so much to the point that you don't even want to feel it. That's what I'm trying to say, Allah, is that opening you up to the kind of pain that you're in, the loss that you're experiencing, the sadness that you're feeling, the insecurities and inadequacies that you're constantly experiencing all the time in a place that unfortunately amplifies them, you won't be able to interact with it. We need to make sure you're safe in order to do that. We can't heal you in the war zone. We could patch you up. This is what I've been doing. I've been patching you up, but we can't heal you there. We got to take you to a place where you can get real work done. And so I want you to focus on something here. That Thomas was with a girl that he deeply loved, very similar to you. And I told him there's the things that he needs to do in order to be able to let this go. You guys experience a different kind of heartbreak, in your regards, not being able to see this thing through. But for Thomas, not even being able to experience any of the things like children or being married. He's living like that's gone. That future is gone. You've experienced the extent of that future. Does that make sense? So you're mourning everything else in between that wasn't met too, which means that both of you are sobering up to a reality. And by the way, that's the reason why pain is so necessary. It allows us to experience reality. We need that. We need it. We need it to feel that we are alive. And in a lot of ways, I want you to recognize another thing too, which is when I was speaking to Thomas, I think the hardest part is to realize the energetic component of people. We often forget that a person leaves their... Have you ever had a bracelet? By the way, it's hard to let go of these things. Why? Because you're grieving the loss of something. When I had to delete the number of one of my ex-girlfriends, she was gone. And I was like, I'm just deleting a number. And I was thinking of like, I just need to remember it. I just need to remember it. I deleted all the photos. I was outside of another girl's house to try to like go ahead and move on from that relationship. And I just couldn't let the person go. Because there was so much hurt and there was so much guilt. So much guilt. Because Thomas, in a lot of ways, we feel guilty. Doesn't mean that you're doing something bad or you wrong someone. You start thinking about the ways you could wrong someone. Tell them a lie about who you are and consistently reinforce that. And make it about how you care about them when you secretly only care about yourself. And that you're actually repressing all of your anger, and in that you are beating the fuck out of yourself, and you are telling them a story about you that is not true, and you aren't getting them real with the choices that they've made that have had real consequence. And that's a beautiful thing, because you guys both exist in reality and you shared something that was real. And I would hope there would be consequence, or else why the hell would you even aspire towards a thing like love to begin with if it didn't have breakups or divorce? Why is it important for us to realize that those things exist before you go ahead and watch 21st century porn where you have this idea that, I don't know, exes are best friends with each other? Like, it takes a long time before people can look each other in the eye. It takes a long time. And I think anybody who really cares about themselves realize that yes, it does take that time. And it takes a long time before you could do that. And it might be 5 years from now when you're married and have another kid on the way to where you could look her in the eye and go, hey, good to see you, and mean it. But right now, that world doesn't exist because you are locked in the confinements of a prison that you've built. This is the agreements in your life that you're going to have to change. And you're still flirting with them. I want to let you know that. Because in a lot of ways, I could even say that for my old employees, I noticed that what was the reason why they left? Ego. I didn't build this business to last. I built a half-built castle that people can project what they believe it will be around. Does you think anybody is really coming in there to build it? Or does want to come in there to exploit it? And now, look, let's be real. I was building off a plastic foundation, and I'm trying to build this shit 6,000 feet high. Well, good luck. This won't stand. Well, look, guess what? The second I started being me and really tapping into my intuition, there's a reason why I suppressed my intuition. It's that crazy how much I could see about a person. Do I really want to be around people now that I could see them clearly? Because I could see that motherfucker clear as day. I could see a lot of other people in my business clear as day too. And sometimes, man, the projection of who you want them to be has got to die. And in that, you better believe you're going to grieve the needs that weren't met and the image that you upheld for them. So I realized, like, okay, what's happening? My business is like fucking frozen, right? Frozen. Although you're frozen. Fuck yeah, man. I'm just giving you a little bit of heat so you can move out of this fucking ice cavern. You're Han Solo in the third movie. He's fucking frozen like this. He's like in Jabba the Hutt's palace. It's a bad place to be, man, you know?
I mean, it feels, because of like the last month or the trip, it feels even weirder. And weirder is not the right word. More fucked up is a better way of calling it.
Can I pause you?
Because-
I want to pause you really quick because I really want to make sure and communicate this. You know there's a reason why your head's up your ass. I think you guys should always be aware of why that is. Something's getting fucked up. And I can tell you, for starters, lack of safety. Brother, what if I were to crack you open right now, we'd have 3 seconds of allo time, followed by, I have to go into the place that removed that from my life. Or even, no, I need to go back to the false life I've built. And just hang around there a little bit more, even though I'm not even getting to experience it in anything authentic. It's a different level of deceitful. It's just a different level. I mean, like, do you ever think about if you took you and you saw what you were doing to you in the situation, would you want to be around that person? Who would you say to that person is?
Me?
I'd say it's borderline evil. I'd say it's an act of malevolence. And yes, the weakness and malevolence hang out with each other at times. It's usually where you find one, you find the other. Now, I want to let you know this, that you guys are going to find this fucking wild. It's going to blow your mind, okay? You cannot grow in the places that, you cannot heal in the places, you cannot heal with the person that broke your heart. Simple. You can't. You refuse that like the fucking plague. You refuse it like the plague. Your heart was broken. Your heart was broken. And you can start accepting that. My heart is broken. My heart is broken. My heart is broken. And then anger is going to come up. Then you're going to realize your resentment's going to come up. Then you're going to walk in that house and you're going to start to fucking shiver. And then your shadow's going to, and you're going to fucking switch to the dark night. All right? And then you're going to go, I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to get all of my shit. I need to leave by tonight. In fact, actually, fuck all of my shit. Take it all. It's all yours. Take the kids. They're yours too. I need to heal. By the way, it's a really hard thing to do, but I could tell you one thing. It's like you have to remember, right now you are the absent father. Maybe you can come back and be a present father. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. And I don't care if anybody misunderstands what the fuck this is, but we both know what I'm saying is true. Because if you can go out to fucking New Zealand for a 72-hour flight, however the fuck long you were traveling for, I can tell you one thing, you've been absent for a long time. We need the intention to integrate, the intention to become, the intention of being a father to your children. And it might not be at this point in your life, but they will understand. You have to be willing to do what's right for you. You have to be willing to walk out completely. You have to. You have to. You'll be painted as the bad guy, the worst thing that can ever happen, right? He left you, kids. Oh. Yeah, but they don't fucking know. They don't see what I see. They don't see what you see. But I can tell you one thing. You can have a life. You can build a life. You can love again. You can be loved. You can grow. You can succeed. You can be healthy. You can become a man. What you're doing right now is just the opposite of that, man. You will be the most bitter, resentful, poisonous son of a bitch. And you will have nothing to say for yourself as the person you are. And your whole life will be living through your children. And you'll become really, really sadistic fuck. So I want to make one thing clear. The other day, you got to move these things on. And I'm just showing you with an employee, man. He was still logged into the social medias. And he was toggling on and off who can follow, like, or share the videos on both Instagram and on YouTube. Do you guys understand how crazy that is? I thought there was something wrong with my Instagram app. I'm barking at my brother until I'm realizing there's intelligence behind this. That's the thing that's interesting, is like that there's an energetic component of these things. Now, I figured it out. Well, thank God, my intuition, I was like, this is making a lot of sense. Not only can he be a spiteful, self-righteous cunt, he also can protect, because that what would make an envious person? Very simple. Envious people are existentially insecure. That they need to challenge, that they don't even believe for themselves that they can have the things that you have. They believe that they have no innate gifts at all. That's Cain, right? He had nothing to offer. So let me just remove the competition. It's evil. That's evil. I look at my story, CTA blows up. I'm like, ooh, clientele gonna come in. My DMs, fucking cold as olives right now. And I look at the setting, and the setting says, and by the way, it's really deliberate, only people that you follow can swipe up. And I go, what? And when I had my people in my business verify if it was working, looks to me like it's working. You got the DM. It must be Instagram. Until there was a certain point, I looked at the setting and I said, who did that? And they're doing it for YouTube too. Toggling on and off for kids or not. Hide the post. Posts were being hidden. And I was like this. I'm going through a breakup too. I gotta clear house or else I can't grow. You're not aware, although, that they call it evil eye, but I'll explain it another way. That people that are envious, their relationship with you is solely to watch you fall, to watch you fail, to bring you down. And they will put up a mask that will be so deceiving and deceitful. The saddest part is that as much as they want to bring you down, they want to be like you. And you're a constant reminder that they can be that too. Yet they've given up on it. So they make sure their whole aim is to bring you down. So I changed all the passwords. Just a complete difference in energy. I was like, I was still holding on. Of course, right? What do you guys do when you have grief? You negotiate. That would never happen. He would never do it. It's like, look, if I saw what I saw 2 weeks ago, the answer is he would. Guys, reality is that crazy sometimes. Where you're like, oh, wait, you mean like capacity for evil was the trigger? Is what I said to that woman in the podcast. You don't even acknowledge your capacity for evil. I would never. Have you ever tried recognizing that you'd be just like a Nazi if you were born in Germany? Why do you think you're any better than them? Well, I'd never do what those people did. You actually want to know the percentage of people that did it and they were just like me and you? Yeah, right? So look, I brought this up because then it made me realize I even had a person on the sales side. Over 912 leads. And this isn't even compounded with people from my community or people from the DMs. How many were sold? Foundation was off, boys. You guys want to know what it's like to build a life off a false foundation? You build it sideways. You don't build anything up. But by the way, hello, you understand what it's like to address things on a foundational level? You're reaching into the depths of your insecurity, and every part of you, how you need to be seen, dies. Because you can't say the truth unless you're willing to let the lies that you surround yourself with burn away. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And so, when I spoke with Thomas, I realized I'm going through a breakup too, and as are you. We can do this together, guys. We can do this together. There's a lot of grief and loss, but I could tell you, man, my soul's light has never been brighter. My heart's never been more open. I think you've noticed that. It's never been more open. And it's that damn worth it. I don't believe that we open our heart because the alternative is head up or ass. That's level one. I believe it's because we could experience the beauty of our lives. You could experience the impact of yourself. And most importantly, you could understand the necessity of why you are here. And you could aspire to be who you're born to be. So, although it's time to clean up house. And you don't have to do it alone. You never did. You got to clear up house. So I want to know what you're feeling, what you're going through.
On the surface level, basically since last spring or the beginning of last summer, I've I've thought about exactly the same thing. I've spoken about, like, since we were like, whatever, like discussing all the alimony and the house and the mortgage and all of that stuff, like talking about all of the same things. I've said even those things out loud. I've had some fights with her, but it's still like, whatever, like I'm like, this is still the reality that I'm in. So yeah, I haven't done it.
Yeah, you got to clear house. You got to clear house. But look, let's break it down for you. I want you to get away from the how. I want you to just accept the reality.
Yeah.
How do you feel sobering up just to this? Because, be honest with you, man, I'd be melting in my chair. Because I am melting in my chair, you know? I feel that way in my life the more I open it. It was something my coach was saying. You're going to have a lot of alignment this week. And I went like this. Not looking forward to it. That's the first thing I said. You know what I'm saying? Because like, what am I down to get fucking whipped with a stick? You know? If you're seeking alignment, you're seeking hard surfaces. Remember that.
It's like I've spoken about this with my sister and with my ex-wife as well. And what I've said kind of like for me was not staying or not being able, so that I can't stay as a satellite, that I want to be there for the boys. Of course, obviously, I do not want to disappear, but I cannot stay and organize my life as a satellite around you guys just to be like a whatever, like a fuckless, sexless, like housemaid, just to take care of the kids.
Look, the fact that you even told that to your wife is you don't even need to do that. That's what I want to get you connected to, that part of you, the part of you that felt that you needed to. Man, you're in orbit. You're not on planet Earth. By the way, satellite, great analogy. Absent.
Yeah.
Out of orbit. Man, you're out of Earth, you know? And by the way, you could do this literally as of tonight.
Well, tonight I can, because the ex-wife is in Spain, and I mean, I'm absolutely just taking care of the boys right now.
Well, then here's what you can do. You can delete every photo that you've ever had with your ex-wife.
That I can do.
And here's also what you can do. Here's also what you can do. You can reach out to a friend to deal with all things assets, because you're going to make a commitment. You're not going to speak to your ex-wife until you are healed.
All that is already done.
Well, you're going to also start realizing that even if she needs to come back from Spain, you understand that the first thing she comes back from Spain is going to be the last time she sees your face. Because you know how you feel about her. I want you to know that in the story, you're the envious type. You're the poisonous one. You're the snake in this home. That's what the spectators become, man. That's what spectators become. You want to accept that, I promise you do.
Sorry, this might be
hard pill to swallow.
Sorry?
Hard pill to swallow. Watch yourself negotiate with it. Just feel it. There are parts. Well, you want to impale the identity. That's another thing you can do right now. It's another thing you can do right now. You're the envious type. That's who you are. It goes completely against a lot of your identity. I hope you know, everyone at some point in their life has been or currently is, including me. You don't understand the level of self-righteousness that you have as you orbit your own planet and stare through your own windows of your own home. But you're not aware of what you're fueling under it. It's the only way you could experience your life, but you're not living it. Yes, the resentful, envious, poisonous type. Envious people can't feel inadequate. They could feel self-righteous. They can feel entitled. They could feel victimized. No, they cannot feel inadequate or insecure. You're working on that. If you don't feel numb walking back into your house today, like shaking and like sick, then you're trying to like regurgitate this hard pill to swallow. You don't want to do this to yourself. I promise you. Fall on the sword. Don't twist. Just even say the words, I accept it. You're like biting your tongue. It's like I'm telling you to curse God. I've said worse things about you. There's also another thing. This is why.
Harder.
Because this is what's stopping you from healing. Because that's the one thing you don't want to be. The bad guy.
It's like I can even connect to being manipulated better than being the resentful or envious one.
Yeah.
I could be selfish, I could be manipulative, I could be, or I am, not could be. But envy, resentment, yeah, that's out there. But
It's in here, actually. And remember what I said at the beginning of the session today. In order to integrate anything, you have to accept it alone in the room with it, with nothing else in there. All right?
yeah.
No one said it was easy, but I started it off today, and here's an example of where most people run. This is where most people run. This is where most people negotiate. This is where most people start to bring in their other characteristics. If you could accept this about you, Olo, then the best of you falls into alignment. Just remember that. It's true every time. Your ego will resist it, and it is right now. And I felt it was like, it was the fucking handbrake compounded with both feet on the fucking brake at the same time. I think you got to pay attention to that, because that's falling on the sword of the identity. You could do that. You get to the pain, and you get to integrate deeper expression of yourself. You get to be more. You don't? We'll see you Thursday. And I really mean that you don't want to do that anymore, man. I want you to accept it. My whole week has been this, brother. My whole week. Okay? In a lot of ways, just on a superficial level, or I'd say just on a there's deeper levels of why we do things, of course. A lot of what made me start this was the alternative of being a resentful, poisonous, envious type. Because I was. What do you think I started this? I was like, I'm looking at all the other people that live the life that I want to live. I'm from the outside looking in. And I was like, wait, oh no. I've become that guy. The thing I swore not to be. How did that happen? I just repressed it. That's what made me it. And now I have to accept the hardest thing possible, that I am. So much liberation. So much liberation. Acceptance is the hardest thing in the world, man. It's the beginning of integration, isn't it? This is the part of you that you reject the most and is the most prevalent in your life.
Yep, it is.
Thomas, you good? Fuck. Dude, I've never seen you look like that before.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just the idea of like the acceptance and the level of negotiation of like I want to get I need my money back. I'm gonna pay for shit like that. And I don't like, I know cognitively, like, dude, who cares? Like, who cares? Let it go. Healing is so much better.
One second. We don't get there until we get real.
Yeah.
You want your money back. Tell me about that.
Now it's like an ego thing for sure that I'm like,
I don't want you to think, so here's the thing. I don't want you to, same thing with you. You're noticing that these steps that you're taking, have you guys ever noticed that? You are integrating deeper and darker dimensions of yourself, which means that you are expanding your creative capacity, your capacity for goodness. Your heights are increasing. But there's always an identity. Isn't that funny?
yeah.
And so that identity is what stops you from opening up your expression, right? And this is where the freedom exists. And same thing for you, Thomas, is that like, there's this identity of I can't be seen as the petty, insecure, loser, bad guy boyfriend, ex-boyfriend.
The bad guy thing is kind of
The bad guy thing, right? But the thing is, let's be real, like what did we just realize here? Is like you want your money back. You don't want to deal with any of these things. You want to get everything to yourself. And now look, I agree with you. Yes, you are correct. The healing is worth more than $1 million home.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we're talking about your future. Now, let's be real about that part of you and go, ooh, okay, nice to meet you. And go like this to your identity. If this is your identity, he's on the little lip of the ledge, just push him. Let him fall on the sword. And I'll tell you why, because sometimes we're just like, we don't want to be that guy, right? You know, it's about the identity. That was your altruism identity. Kill him. Let him fall on the sword. You don't need him. Come closer to the truth of yourself. I want the money back. I want the house. And I want this bitch to burn. You don't look like Jesus anymore, do you? Good. You never needed to. It's the most Jesus thing you could do. Yeah, dude.
I can't even get to the point of like wanting her to burn, dude.
It might not even be that specific. I'm just saying that, you know, there's definitely, you want your money back. And there's a lot of pride. Pride is a deadly sin. And that's why we like to preserve our identities, but they aren't worth much. Our identities are restrictive by definition. And by the way, the thing about, yeah, and I kind of can now just paint it out. I want to actually write it down, see what it looks like.
There's definitely also I fear maybe of like, am I like, if I want to like go ask another girl out, am I just avoiding stuff right now? Like, am I even in a good spot to go do any of that stuff?
You don't have any obligation to do anything except do what's best for you.
Yeah.
This is like it's a difficult conversation to have with people, isn't it? You're not obligated to anybody. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I want you to know that people that believe they're obligated to others have a ridiculous amount of pressure in relationship to the choices they make for other people and end up abandoning those people. If you're not obligated to people, then you choose those people. You're kind to those people. You love those people. I'm not obligated to you guys. I want to be here. That means you actually have me. Oh, they paid me. What? Terrible, right? Now look, if that's where I'm at, I should probably go ask myself a question. Well, I'm not obligated. Then why am I in it? If I'm not obligated, then why am I here? So there's for you, Thomas. I think that a lot of them, I put it in a different way. I want to be able to play around with how these things work with each other, and why the integration of dark nature is the first part of this equation. What ends up happening is that there's an identity, and where there's an identity, there's a trauma. Where there's a trauma, there's a pain. And so the reason why whenever we accept certain parts of ourselves, there's another part of ourselves that needs to go. So it's kind of like math in this regard. That's the thing that needs to fall on the sword. Because then now what you're doing is you're taking the worst of yourself and you're being able to accept it in potentially a place where you would least like to admit that's true. It's like, I can't get over that friend. One of my friends, he was telling me about him and this family that he used to be friends with, and he loved the movie Saltburn so much. And I told him, you're like Oliver from Saltburn. And Oliver is a parasite that comes into this wealthy home and drains them of all of their resources and ends up being signed to all of the wills and amasses generational wealth and kills everyone in the family. And so what he was told by the older brother was, "You wish death on our family." And I said, "He's right." And he goes, "What the fuck? The fuck?" I told you, I was dealing with this week. I'm just helping people not be in pain. Do you get what I'm saying? Why does you being virtuous or altruistic or morally superior or sanctimonious help you with your pain? Think about it. Does that help you? No.
No.
Have you ever, let's say you're right, but your brother stabbed you in the back. Does being right help you with the pain?
No.
No. That's a trauma. And in that trauma, there's pain. But man, the identity of being right, your dark nature is going to throw that out the fucking window because it's going to show you you're just as much of a monster, which is the only way to heal, right? How do you heal from betrayal or being cheated on? Realizing you do it with the woman you love. Because that was what a fucking fuck ass told me yesterday. "I'd never cheat on the woman I love." I'm like, "Did you love that girl that cheated on you?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, I don't fucking know. Go to college or something. Go write a 5-page essay. Spend $100,000. Do something stupid. Go to casino. Gamble your money. Play Russian roulette with 6 bullets. Just what are you suggesting here? So there's a lot to learn. I'm learning a lot here, guys, and I'm really grateful to be able to play with these things. So I'll tell you what my friend said, and I'll leave you with this. He goes, "What the fuck? What are you saying, man?" And he started to smile because he knew I got him. And I said, "Well, knowing you've been their plaything." "I have been their plaything. If I saw them right now, I would tell the sister to go be a pussy-licking lesbian. I would tell the brother, stand up, grow a pair of fucking balls. Your whole personality is to not be your older brother. And to the other one, I would say that you lost your mind years ago taking too much ayahuasca." And I was like, "Oh, you sure you don't want to wish death on their family?" And he smiles and he goes, "You got me." And his whole body lit up. He was red and he was sweating. And he goes, "Dude, I didn't think that would help, but it did." And by the way, next day, not really wishing death on them. "You're negotiating, it's okay." You didn't really fall on the sword, it got wounded, You want to do it again? We can go back up to the slide and go down. All right, God bless you guys. You've been a pleasure. Alo, welcome to Real Healing. You're doing great. All the best.
Appreciate it.